Cities are a defining feature in the global economy and a hub of activity that are constantly changing and adapting. In this lecture, we will examine key concepts in urban geography to include cities, settlement patterns, and urbanization. These topics are important to geographers because of the ways in which cities and urban settlements are formed, where they form, how they grow, and why. A city is considered a central place that provides goods and services for its residents and its surrounding trade or market area. The trade area served by a city is called its hinterland. Cities can be very diverse. For example, the photo at the top is of Tokyo, Japan, and the bottom is of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Tokyo, Japan, and Stillwater, Oklahoma are very different kinds of central places, not only because of their settlement histories, but also because of the population and the specialized activities they support. Tokyo, for example, is heavily involved in the international trade, banking, and industry. Stillwater, by contrast, is a small city whose largest employer is a university. No matter their diversity, cities share 6 basic characteristics. 1. Cities possess dense concentrations of people. 2. Cities, unlike rural settlements, are distinguished by functional complexity. Functional complexity is the ability of a city to support sizable concentrations of people who earn a living from specialized non-farming activities. 3. Cities are centers of institutional power associated with the business, governmental, or cultural activities of that place. 4. Cities are dynamic, human-created environments that possess complex patterns of specialized land use, such as residential, commercial, industrial, and public. 5. Cities are linked via trade, transportation, or communication to other urban and rural places. And 6. Cities are full of contradictions. They can be places of opportunity, but also of poverty. The term urban is very complicated to define because it is defined differently depending on what country you are in. It could be defined based on the size of the population, it could be based on certain territories or administrative divisions, or it could be based on population size and employment patterns. Most cities have legal boundaries and is referred to as the central city. The Central Business District, or CBD, inside the central city is where major office and retail activities are clustered. Suburbs, on the other hand, are built-up areas just outside the city limits. The difference between an urbanized area and metropolitan area is that a metropolitan area encompasses a larger area, usually more people and the adjacent zones that are socially and economically connected to it, such as the places sending commuters into the cities. This map shows Hartford in the state of Connecticut in relation to the urbanized and metropolitan areas surrounding it. A megalopolis, also referred to as a conurbanization, was a term coined in the 1950s to describe the melding of 2 or more metropolitan areas as they grew together. The Boston to Washington, D.C., or Boswash megalopolis was where the term was first used. This map shows the growth of the megalopolis since 1950. Although the term megalopolis originally referred to the urban corridor stretching between Boston and Washington, D.C., unless capitalized, it now describes any coalescing metropolitan area such as Tokyo and Yokohama in Japan, or Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo in Brazil. Both countries have similar patterns between major cities. Urbanization refers to the process that concentrates people in urban places. Urbanization can be measured by examining the rate of urban growth, which is the annual percentage increase in an urban population, and by the level of urbanization, which indicates the percentage of people living in urban places in some defined area. Factors that influence urban growth include geographic location, industrialization and globalization, demographic trends, policies promoting economic growth, and improved services and amenities. Urbanization is increasingly dramatically around the world. The world reached a new milestone, an urban transition, in 2008, with half of the global population living in urban areas, as shown in the top left line graph. Most of these urban residents live in towns and cities with fewer than 1 million people. When levels of urbanization are mapped by country, we can see the unevenness of urbanization around the world. Although there is a great variation from country to country, Africa and Asia are the least urbanized of the populated continents in the world, as shown in the bar graph top right. Please pause the video and answer the following. What is meant by cities are full of contradictions? In your own words, using the text as a guide, be thorough and specific in your answer.